What's up, Boopers? So for my next Wildstar guide, we'll be covering the veteran level 50 adventure called Crimelords of Whitevale. If you've run War of the Wilds on gold a few times, you should have enough gear to tackle this one. It's not very difficult either. And it gives 2 purples for a gold reward instead of 1. So let's get started. And at the very beginning of the dungeon, you will be given 3 choices. You can go for either Dark Spur, Red Moon, or Protostar. Now, by far, the easiest of these 3 is to take Blood Moon. Dark Spur Gold is very difficult and requires a lot of coordination for one specific part. And then Protostar is, for the most part, bugged, so I would avoid it right now. So once you've chosen your target, you'll start being sent on missions, and after completing each mission, you will be sent back to your base. You are required to complete 4 missions based on your initial choice, but all of the other missions you select are somewhat random and their purpose is only to fill your notoriety bar. When given the choice, I recommend picking Alliance and then Rocktown, as they are one of the easiest side missions. If not, then go for War in the Streets, but be wary that War in the Streets can sometimes be buggy. Now, I won't go over these side quests in this video as they are simple and there's a ton of them. You get sent around to kill stuff, loot stuff, etc. Also note that all trash in this dungeon are not related to missions and can be skipped and leashed. So just run straight for your objectives every time and you should be fine. So let's get started and focus on the 4 main missions of this dungeon. Of the 3 starting choices, Red Moon, Dark Spur, and Protostar, we're going to start with Red Moon. So Red Moon's the one you want to do if you just want an easy gold in your purples. If you select Red Moon, then the first mission you will get is to get moonshine from a box on this little water ice island. To do this, you can scan the boxes to see what's inside, or just keep destroying them all until you get the quest credit. Once you do get the credit, you can run back to the NPC on the platform and then head back to the bar without waiting for him to talk, as he talks forever regardless of if you're there to listen or not. After this, you'll get some more random mission choices, and as I said, your choices will not affect gold very much, but if you do manage to get Alliance 3 times, and you pick the same Alliance, like Rocktown Rollers, you will get a boss mission on the 3rd one that will drop extra loot. The second Red Moon mission that is required to do is going to be called Vengeance. You can choose it, but if you don't, you will eventually be forced to do it. This mission will send you into a jail to escort some guy out. Now note that this escort can bug, so when you go to do it, make sure the NPC you are escorting aggroes and hits the mobs first. You then protect him, killing easy trash on the way out of the jail. There's not much to say here, just don't pull off more than you can handle and keep him alive. And the 3rd mission from the Red Moon will happen once your notoriety bar fills, and this will give you your first real boss. So once you get this mission to head to the Void ship, you are instructed to enter it and you can start clearing out the trash. Now to make this fight easier, I recommend clearing all trash even though it's skippable in the first room, but definitely don't leave any trash alive in the second room. This boss has a few abilities and they're pretty easy. Firstly, he will summon ads with dangerous telegraphs, and to combat this we usually pull him back into the first room, and this forces the ads to streamline together so that they are easier to tank and kill. Secondly, he will put a bomb on somebody that tethers them to it so that they can't run away, but killing the bomb saves them and it usually dies to accidental AoE anyway. Just make sure it doesn't kill the healer in the back. Thirdly, at 25% intervals he'll run to the upper platform and do an AoE stun, then do big AoE damage. Now if you're tanking him out of the first room, none of this will affect you aside from the fact that he randomly runs away and then comes back, but this gives you time to clean up the ads. Now once he's dead, you'll be sent on back to the Scion Clubhouse for the last boss. Now this last boss is pretty simple. First, he'll send out his ads 2 at a time, so don't pull more than you can handle, they will come to you. And then after you've killed them all, he will come to you himself. And he will not aggro until all the ads are dead, so don't worry about getting too close. Now he has some telegraphs you need to dodge, and you can coordinate with group members to interrupt his cross skills to get purple damage on him, but for the most part this boss is kind of a joke. Just tank and spank and stay out of the red. Once you kill him, you'll see if you earned gold, which is pretty easy as long as no one in your group really dies. I think 1 death is okay sometimes, but it's hard to see the actual requirements for gold in this game. So when you are starting out the dungeon, I recommend sticking to this path for the first few times before trying the Dark Spur path, but Do note that the path does affect loot tables, meaning switching from Red Moon to Darkspur will get you different drops from the bosses. Okay, so now let's get started on the Darkspur path. The starting Darkspur mission is going to send you down to the water to kill 2 Darkspur men. Then you have to swim into the water, but make sure you're watching your breath and your core temperature. You can die if you're not paying attention. So you just got to keep untying these poor guys who are sinking at the bottom of the water until you find the right one, and you'll be sent back up to give him CPR. And that's it for the first mission. It's pretty easy. The second Darkspur mission, though, is titled Vengeance, just like the Red Moon second one. And if you avoid it, you will eventually be forced to do it. And it is the reason that the Darkspur is so damn difficult to get gold on. The mission will give you 6 minutes to kill 4 named monsters that are very far spread out. So the strategy I recommend is that immediately talk to Loose Lips, and after you talk to him, don't wait for him to finish talking. Run straight to where the first one is going to spawn. Run out of the bar and head towards the trash heap, and that'll be the location of the first monster named Hot Stuff. She is the most annoying, and thus it's best if you take her out with your whole group present. Interrupt her telegraphs or avoid her telegraphs as best as possible. Once she dies, you should immediately head to the next boss, which will be Double Tap, which he'll be over this hill a bit. Now kill him quickly, and once he's dead, you have to hope you still have about 3 minutes left. And at this point, you should send your tank and 1 DPS to kill Big Shot, and send 2 DPS and the healer to kill Scar. Now Scar is very far away, so the 2 DPS and healer group will have to run fast and avoid aggroing any extra monsters on the way. But unless the group splits up, it's impossible to manage to kill all 4 in 6 minutes. Big Shot himself is not difficult, so the tank and DPS only need to dodge all telegraphs, and they shouldn't have any trouble. If you fail this mission, you will not get gold. And additionally, any bosses remaining after this mission that you didn't kill will appear on the final Darkspur mission, so good luck with this one. But once you get all full notoriety with Darkspur, you'll be sent into a freezer to kill the first boss. You can skip all the trash inside the freezer, but note that any bosses you didn't kill in the previous mission will be here. Luckily, they are not linked to the boss and can be pulled separately, so kill them first if you have to. The boss himself is pretty simple. He will put a lightning grenade debuff on somebody, and this person needs to run away from his friends as they will do damage to nearby allies. And he'll also do a flamethrower to the tank that does massive damage. You need to either interrupt it or outrange it by running away from the boss. Moving side to side will not get you to escape it. He'll just turn and face wherever you go. Once he's dead, you will be sent back to your Scion clubhouse to face the last Darkspur boss. And this boss is simple as long as you manage to deal with his ads correctly. For my group, we ran to the back of the house and fought him with the healer out of line of sight of the ads, so that they group up and are easier to tank and kill. The reason for this is that otherwise the ads just spawn all over the fucking place, and it's really hard to get them under control. If you manage the ads decently, he's a pretty easy kill. Just be aware the ads will not despawn when he dies, so you have to clean them up after. If you manage to do all those missions correctly without any deaths, you should get gold. Good job! And lastly, let's talk about the Protostar path. Now, as I noted, this path is bugged and sometimes incompletable, and I've actually never seen the last boss, but I'll go over the rest until that point. The first Protostar mission has you loot a ledger from the floor of your bar, then visit 3 shops to talk to 3 shopkeepers and kill 3 robots. It's pretty straightforward, and the bots are nothing special, so kill them and be done with it. The second Protostar mission, also listed as Vengeance like the other 2, has you hunt down 3 assassins by inspecting dead bodies along the road. Follow the trail of bodies using your event quest tracker arrows, and you'll eventually meet the first assassin, who I like to call Buggy McAnnoying. He'll spawn on top of shipping crates and start shooting you instantly, so everyone should jump up and let the tank get some decent aggro before he teleports. Once he teleports, I recommend that the person tanking stays on the ground in the middle and gets heals while only the DPS follow him. The reason for this is that the boss will eventually evade bug and reset if the person with aggro tries to jump onto some of the shipping crates. I'm guessing this is because of a pathing or line of sight issue. Either way, it's a very annoying mini boss. Once he's dead, head through the town to the next 2 assassins, neither of which do really anything special compared to the first guy. Just use the same method to track them down and then shoot them in the face. Once you reach full notoriety, you'll be sent to the next Protostar mission to attend a consumer conference, quote, which basically means you are going to get ambushed by 10 robots and put in a room of poison, which will start doing more and more damage the longer you are in the room. It's a pretty straightforward battle. Avoid the telegraphs and utilize CC to keep the damage to a minimum while the healer keeps you alive through the poison the best he can. Once you've survived all the waves of robots, you can open the room door and talk to an executive to get out. It's at this point that this path tends to bug and leave everybody in combat, keeping them stuck in this area, unable to complete the adventure. So until this gets fixed, I'd avoid picking the Protostar path. And if it is fixed, then you'll have to figure out the last guy by yourselves to get your gold. But same as always, no deaths makes a happy caretaker and your happy loot pockets. Anyway, that's it for this guide. I won't go over all of the side missions, and honestly I have no clue if drops and adventures are determined by your choices. But if they are, then it'll be a nightmare for databases. Best of luck hunting those purples, and Tempest Refuge guide is coming up next. I'm booping out. Boop.